this if you want to use it for your if you want to use it for your own purposes as well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so you're just asking me a question about what I was doing. Yeah. So yeah, I was a yoga teacher for a few years.
Okay. In
Um,
Australia?
Actually, no. I'm from New Zealand.
Oh, I love New Zealand. Beautiful country.
It's pretty, isn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
Have you been have you been there, Sandy?
Yes, yes, I've been to New Zealand.
Wow.
Hmm. Milford Sound, yeah. Queenstown. Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. All the lakes
Did
are all different colors. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Isn't that cool, eh? Yeah.
They're all
Did you
like different shades of blue, like a hint of purple. I don't know. They're just, yeah, it's amazing.
It's like someone just took a photo and colored it in and said, "This is where you're going to go on the travel bro." Oh, it's not a travel brochure. It's legit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Did you know I'm from Queenstown?
No. Why? Is that where you're from?
Like I lived like I was fortunate really in that my father liked to be employed, and so in doing that, looking after bringing me up, um he moved around trying to find the right place, and there was a lot of jobs at times because of the popularity of Queenstown. Um,
Hmm.
and which makes for an interesting rent price at the moment. So, but yeah, so I found myself living there in high school. I went to 10 different schools.
Wow.
And yeah, Dad liked to move around. Like, oh, you finished with this place? I'm like, Dad, I just got here. No. Um, but so while I was in Queenstown, actually, I discovered yoga in Canada when I was
Okay.
over there doing some snowboarding and things, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm probably going to do this forever. I got that buzz from if someone finds running, whatever it is,
Mm. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and like yeah, I just ended up running for it, and anything that kind of smacked of that middle path approach to fitness,
Okay.
you, like not too into building big muscles, and not too into sitting down and making humming noises and hoping that life's going to be um magnificent. I sort of like I liked yoga because it was a combination of fitness and you know
Meditation. Hmm.
philosophy. Yeah, that too, right? But
Hmm.
I'm super stoked that you're here because absolutely so interested in your story,
Yeah.
Sandy, because um I've been interviewing people a little bit like this, but I speak to a lot
Hmm.
of people and help individuals, some of them. And um, when you told me your story, I was like, yeah, this is what people need to hear about.
Right,
So would
right.
you please tell
Absolutely.
tell everyone
Yeah.
what happened with you?
Sure, sure. In 2016, in January, I went skiing in Colorado, and my I think the binding was on too loose. So it came off, the ski came off. And so my right foot, hit the snow, and that's how I tore my ACL. And they did the scan, they said it was a partial tear, and so it was kind of like, I could do the reconstruction, or I could just do physical therapy and try to avoid surgery. So I was trying to avoid surgery, and I started doing my own research and decided, maybe I'll just try stem cells first. because there were some people said that it worked and it helped. So yeah, so I went to this place in Northern Virginia, um, and they drilled into my hip bone and like sucked up some bone marrow, and that's how you get the stem cells, and then inject it into my
Well,
knee. Yeah,
oh
it
my.
was a really painful process.
Oh, you poor
Yep.
chalk.
So yeah, so they injected into my knee, and it like really swelled up, and I mean, I don't think it helped at all. I mean, I didn't, I was still in pain, and months go by. I thought, well, maybe it just takes a while to heal, but no, so that didn't work. So then a year later, I was still in pain. Like my knee was visibly still swollen. Like I would always, I'll ride in the car and like prop my leg up, and just to like help, because anytime I have my leg down or it's just sitting or anything, where it's not propped up, it would hurt. It's like the swelling, the fluid would just like accumulate. So yeah, if I'm in a
Mm,
car for, you know, however long, 30 minutes, it'll start to bother me. I'll always like prop my leg up. And,
right.
eventually I was like, you know what, maybe I just really need to get the surgery. So yeah, pretty much like a year and a half after I tore my ACL, I did the surgery, and it was a cadaver hamstring, and of
For
course,
people who
did
don't know
the
that for people who don't know that's a dead person. I
yeah,
have to,
yes,
sorry if that like horrifies you. It's like you
yeah,
didn't have to tell them it was dead people, but that was and maybe still is, right? A recognized
yeah,
approach to mending tendons or portions of the body is like get some spare parts. God bless.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So that's what they did, and I mean, did the physical therapy afterwards, all the exercises that I was supposed to be doing, and like you just hope that it would get better, right? And like months go by, and you're doing the exercises, and like it's just my knee pain never went away. And I know some people that have torn their ACL, and actually a lot of them say they're not even in that much pain from tearing their
Mm,
ACL. So I don't know. Maybe some
mm,
people, I don't know. I was in pain, and my knee was visibly swollen and looked different than, the unaffected knee. So
right.
yeah, so that's a year and a half after I tore it and did the surgery, and still like not better. And you know, I was like doing eventually I think I had a personal trainer that I was doing some exercises with. I was
Hmm.
working a lot, so I don't know, I didn't really have time to be like doing, you know, 3 days a week, like physical therapy. So I would just,
Putting your foot up at all. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
I need to put
yeah,
my
pretty
foot up.
much.
Bitch, get to work. You know,
Yeah.
sorry, but like, we've got our own
Yeah.
little lives. We've still got to live, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're obviously able to walk around.
Yes. Yes, I can walk, but
Yes,
anytime I would climb stairs, I would feel it. Yeah. And
stairs.
so yeah, so then there was like, oh, then there was the pandemic, and I thought, okay, well, this is great. I have there was a shutdown. I'm a
Requisite time to put your
dentist.
leg up. I can just chill
Yeah.
now. Apparently, there's a
Yeah,
disease that
so
we're
I'm a
all
I'm
gonna
a
die from.
dentist, and at the time I, had there's the shutdown, right? So I couldn't work.
Mm,
And I thought, well, maybe this is a good time to just be doing knee exercises, you know.
mm.
And I was doing some of that, and I was also doing yoga, doing Pilates workouts. I was actually working
Wow.
out a lot. during the like,
Mm.
it was like a 3-month shutdown. I figured, this is my chance to like just exercise and see if this gets better. Well, it didn't because I guess I was not doing the right exercises. Um, so that was like 2020. By then it was like what, 4 years after I had after I tore my ACL.
4 years.
Um,
Wow. So you did
mhm.
it, I'm sorry, was it 2016 or so? I forgot.
Yeah,
2020.
2016 was when I
Oh,
tore my ACL. And then so it was 2020. I was doing like just all kinds of like exercises by myself or, on YouTube, finding different things to try, and then that didn't help. And I went back to seeing physical therapists and yeah, it's just like none of it was helping much. So and then around this time, I heard about Ben Patrick, he's over toes guy. Yeah. Think he was on Joe Rogan. So yeah,
that's
so
exactly, yeah, that is where I came across
that's how
him
you, yeah.
myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yep.
saw him on Joe Rogan? Yeah.
Yeah, like people told me about um him being on Joe Rogan and that, maybe it's something I should try. So I think at that time I might have like done some of the exercises, but I didn't have a gym that was in, so I didn't really, I didn't go like find the sled that to walk backwards with the sled, right? So I didn't do any of that yet. I did I think I did some of the exercises on my own, but wasn't really like diligent with it. And what did I do next?
I mean, after
Oh,
four
I went
years.
to Taiwan. So I'm from Taiwan, and during this time, you know, this was what, yeah, 2021. And by this time, I sold my dental practice, and my family's in Taiwan. So Taiwan at this time still didn't really have any COVID cases. They were actually one of the last countries to be like affected by COVID.
Is that right?
Yeah, because they did like they were really strict with everything. With like basically they
Mm.
closed their country to outside, and then like they're very strict with the quarantine. Um, People were really good about wearing masks. And anyway, so I decided, well, I'm gonna just spend some time in Taiwan and see my family and yeah, so that's what I did. You have to quarantine for 14 days to be able to enter Taiwan. So when you fly in,
Oh,
you like go to this hotel and you just stay there for 14 days. You can't go anywhere. Anyway,
drat.
so yeah, so I was in Taiwan, and then I found this doctor who did the PRP injections. So I was
Please tell
doing
us what
that.
that is. What is that?
What is that?
Oh, sorry, I put you on the spot.
Platelet. I
Oh
know.
crap! I've been saying this
I
for
can't.
years.
I know. What is this is like
I can help. Do you want me to
all
Google
right,
it?
look it up for me.
Yeah. So they let you back in the country because you're a special case. What is it? PRP?
PRP.
I feel like I'm gonna get this and go, oh yeah, because you wrote down PRP injections, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I don't want to. I was like, keeping our conversation focused at the time. Wow, my internet, at least my Zoom's working. That's great. So carry on, um, Sandy.
Platelet rich plasma. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Plate-rich plasma. Oh, I didn't know that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So what they do is they
Ooh.
draw your blood and then use a centrifuge to take the platelet out of your plasma.
Ah,
Um,
yes, yes, yes. Spin it around.
spin it, yeah. So then they inject that back into your knee. Yeah, supposed to
Roger.
help with healing.
Mm.
I think that helped a little bit. I think that did.
Mm.
Um, but not like not 100%, you know. I think that did help a little bit. And also at that time when I was in Taiwan, I was seeing a chiropractor, and I think that helped too with um just aligning my knee properly. Like he would be pulling on my leg. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
To like make sure it was.
So you know, the way he explains this, just like the alignment in your legs, make sure that when you're walking, everything is not, you know, going out of like alignment.
Which
So,
can be a real problem with even athletes and even like, okay, obviously sometimes it might be obvious that like elderly people might slip into poor alignment patterns, but if you sit down in a truck driving job for a living or something, even working in an office, and you just don't have that regular, movement pattern, it can be jumbled by, you know, it can be jumbled and no matter who
hmm
you are in a way. Um, so it is useful to have it. That's why one of the reasons why I think yoga became such a mainstay of Western approach to physiology is that obviously we were exploring these different ranges of motion in a ideally balanced way, but we were also, particularly because of Iyengar, really focused on alignment.
hmm
It was like,
I've never
broken
tried
down.
Iyengar yoga.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah,
I
maybe I
don't even know
will.
if I have either, to be honest with you. Um,
Okay.
his was one of our books that
Okay.
was encouraged to read. Like, okay, Kyle, if you want to get good at your anatomy, then read Iyengar's book, was kind of what I
Uh,
was told. Had a very I think he was responsible for a particular type of yoga. All my friends out there are yelling it to me, but I can't hear them right now. And they're like, "You douche! We did this for like a month. What were you doing?" Anyway, that was years ago. So I know,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So was it in Taiwan that you came across Ben Patrick and Joe Rogan?
I think it was around that time where I was, yeah, when I think around that time was when I signed up for the app, the I think he calls it the Zero program. Because at the time, you know, I didn't have access to a gym to use the sled. So I was doing the tibialis raises, the calf raises, the exercises that were part of the app that he had.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think, yeah, I mean, I was doing that and I started to feel better. And so I knew that, okay, there's something different here. Yeah. So you know, I
Wow.
wasn't as diligent with it, but I was doing the exercises, you know, on and off. And when I was doing it, I did feel an improvement. Um, and then eventually, you know, when I eventually decided to like be more serious and be more committed to the exercises, once I realized that, you know, I think this is gonna work, this is gonna help, then I signed up for a local gym. And by this point, you know, I was back in the US, but I signed up for a local gym and I was using the backward sled. And I could feel
Right.
that when I was doing that every day, that it just felt like, you know, sometimes I would even feel a click in my knee.
Yes.
And I don't even know really
Don't
what
even
that
know
is,
what that is. I know
but it's like
exactly
almost like
what
it
you're
feels
talking
like it's
about.
shifting into place,
Yes.
you know? Have you felt that?
Lady, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was just using
Hmm.
a sled this morning. Like I have created a sled here at my work site. If you can't tell, I'm like in a trucker's yard in Australia. So what
Okay.
I've done is I have a, for lack of a better word, like a tow rope, and I have rigged that to a what we call a pallet. So you would know what a forklift is. So you pick up pallets with a forklift, and whatever
Okay.
is delivered on a pallet. So I've got this
Okay.
pallet rigged up on the ground with a piece of wood timber through it, and uh,
Okay.
and I just tow that pallet around, attached at the hips, like you would have been, I imagine. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've got a rope or a something tied
Yeah, a strap.
to
Yeah.
your strap. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay. That works.
it does. So in walking backwards, I interviewed a mixed martial arts uh black belt a few days ago, who he explained it quite well, is that when you're walking forward, you're walking heel to toe very often. And because he's a martial
Okay.
artist, he's hyper aware almost because of his training. It's necessary for him as an instructor to be aware of his movement on his toes. So
Hmm.
he's been walking backwards on his way to the gym every day, and God bless him, like um, he doesn't care what people think of him because he's a black belt.
Yeah, yeah.
So he just he's walking backwards to the gym every day, and he said, "You know what, Kyle? Because I made him start doing this because I actually know him from back home, and I knew about his knee problem. So I would ask him about it, and he'd say, oh, yeah, you know, I know. You know the kind of people I'm talking about." But I sort of like said to him, I had to put it on him a bit, like, if you're serious about this, you can take all that
Mm-hmm.
supplement and wish all you like and wait for the surgery, because he's talking about the surgery like everyone else. And
Mm-hmm.
now at the moment, he has sent me a couple without me even prompting him, he's sent me a couple of videos of him doing the method, saying, hey, cheer, bro. Oh, this is pretty good. Like just like he's really smiling and stuff. And so what he was saying was that when he's walking forward, that heel to toe proclivity that we have doesn't always allow us to fall in sync with the physical alignment of our bone structure, possibly because we're often walking in shoes, we're maybe a little unconscious, we're working on different surfaces, going from gutters to stairs to things, and maybe falling out of physical alignment because of things like sitting in cars for extended periods during the day. I don't know what it is, but there's something about walking backwards which is different, and this is what I think it might be. When we're walking
Hmm.
backwards, we're always going toe to heel, and we're
Okay.
initiating that process. So beginning at the toe is at the very end of the foot. So if we're getting into a habit then of pushing through the toes to initiate movement through our whole physiology, through our whole body, it's
Mm-hmm.
we're pushing out at the outer limits of our nerve awareness, our nerve extension. We're like pushing out through the tip of the toe, right? So then you've got your other
Yeah.
foot there, and you bring the other foot over there, and you got 2 feet now, and it's like it's gradually re emboldening the connection between the limits of our physical extension and
Okay.
our physical modality, like our proclivity to walk on our hind legs. Like we're the only one of the only mammals in the world that continually walk bipedally on two
Yeah.
feet, right? Which is just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's just a funny thing to laugh about. But if you look at the animal kingdom, we've only just sort of really taken over the show in what, the last 100,000 years, 30,000 years, whatever you
I don't even know.
thing you to ascribe to these days. But what's interesting about the walking backwards method is that so many people are reporting that they're getting these weird shifts, and I'm one of them. And that I
Mm.
think this, let's just say honestly though, like whenever we pursue something a little different, our body might do something a little different. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, I rotate my shoulders now to get ready for working in the office and it feels really good. You know what? Yesterday it went like this, click. Well, probably because you don't do that very often. And now you've opened up your scapula, this fascia,
Right.
because you'll know about fascia possibly, which contains a lot of our muscle groups as kind of a
Mm-hmm.
sticky, so our muscles can kind of
Mm-hmm.
stick together, right? So,
Right.
but what's more interesting for me is that what you're saying there, about how it, um, you had that sensation, but it wasn't just the walking backwards method for you. It was you were doing the protocol, which actually I teach in my course, is
Mm-hmm.
the tibialis raises, etc., right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think they were all important, but I think that walking backwards, I think really helped. Mm-hmm. Because
That's really
I feel like I didn't make like a full recovery until I was adding the doing the backwards sled part.
really. So
Mm-hmm. I
it's
feel like
like,
that part
mm,
to me was like a key part of it. Mm-hmm.
would you say that that may be because you begun adding a strength component to what it was you were already doing as a person who's already physically active, in the sense that you were doing some exercises, you were on your feet as a dentist all day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or a portion, good
Right.
portion, right? Getting up, getting
Yeah.
down. So you were physically active, but now you're doing this proven method and
Mm-hmm.
obviously going the whole hog. Can I just congratulate you for like doing these things and being like person who's always looking for your answers? Like
Yeah.
full credit to you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
congratulations for like, you know, discovering that, but also having the goal to take it to the next level. So you can just walk backwards and get a
Mm-hmm.
physical benefit, but you decided, oh, I might actually put some weight behind it with a sled.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely the backward sled, but also I think what really like propelled my healing was actually the commitment. So I made a decision that I wanted to learn how to dance. And it's like
Hey.
I feel like it's one thing to say, oh, I, just want to get out of pain, which is, obviously we all want to be pain free, but I think to like take it to that next level to say, I want to be a dancer and just do this community theater performance, as a
Ah,
goal,
yes, yes, okay.
And so there's something like more concrete with that to me. And once I decided, okay, I'm gonna learn to dance, and then I started taking dance lessons, right? Then it became, okay, well, for me
Mm,
to learn how to dance, obviously I can't have knee pain, right? And,
ooh.
I was taking dance lessons, and then I remember like I'll have dance lessons once a week, and then there'll be days where I'll have knee pain, And I think that normally if I have knee pain, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna take a break, But if I have knee pain and I have to take dance lessons and I'm auditioning for a performance, then I have a goal. I feel like having that goal for me, I don't know about everybody else, but
Mm.
for me, like having a goal of like, I need to audition for this show and then I got in, So
Hey,
so
whoa.
so then that was like, okay, well, I got in to the audition that I wanted to do in this like little local community theater. Well, then now I have to go to rehearsals and now I have to perform, you know? So I have this like commitment and I have a show to perform. I can't like just not show up for the show, you know? And so I think that really helped because it committed me to, okay, well, now it has to get serious. Like now I have to do backward sled every single day. You know, I have to do all these
Ah,
tibialis raises and calf
you got the
raises.
fire, right?
Yeah,
You
like
got
I
some
can't slack
pressure.
off. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what like propelled me is because I
Mm.
had that pressure to get better.
See, that's interesting, Sandy,
Hmm.
because when I came across you on Facebook and just by listening to your words about all the things that you did to get yourself to this where you're at now, I thought, wow, this girl is another go-getter. She is a person who is motivated by what's possible. But what you've just
Yeah,
told everyone there is that you
yeah,
were, but you had a full-time job, or just like anyone else has different responsibilities outside of things that aren't commanding 100% of your attention. Like your knee was
right,
sore, but your knee wasn't killing and like you could walk. So
right.
what actually motivated you was a little bit of like the stick instead of the carrot, am I right? Like, yeah, well, you know
Well,
what?
it's kind of both, right? Because
Okay,
I
yes, yeah,
wanted to dance, obviously, you know,
yeah. Okay,
it
yeah.
was a goal that I wanted to have. But yeah, you're right. It's that I think it's that time constraint, you know. It's like for years I had knee pain and
Yes.
it was like, oh, I try this and I try that and like, oh, it's not really
Mm,
working and like, you know, I've and with knees over toes it was similar in the sense that like I knew about it and I would do some exercises and it would get a little bit better, but then I would like, you know, you just like kind of slack off and like not do them.
hmm.
Um, but then when you finally have like a deadline, like, you know,
Some kind
you
of
have to go to rehearsals and do these choreographies and you have a show and the show has to
mm.
go on, like, well then, you
Other
know,
people are expecting this of me and social pressure. Wow, it's so
yeah,
true.
I
Like,
think it's true.
there's something to that. I felt kind of bad the other day because a deaf person I met on the internet who's been very supportive of what I've been sharing in the arthritis community um, has been really like inspired to do something. But bless her, I don't think she's really gone at it. And I felt a
Mhm.
little bad because the other day I turned her and out of it because I've got a background in coaching. And I turned to her and I said, "What about your granddaughter?
Okay.
Wouldn't you like to, like spend more as a friend? Like because there's this social like barrier at times for us as humans. I think we kind of, but that was just my story, like, oh, maybe it's just not appropriate for me to give her shit about this. And it's like I
Hmm.
wasn't really giving her shit. It was like I could see she was fluffing. She told me she needed motivation. And so,
Hmm.
sometimes realizing that if we don't turn up, if we don't make it to rehearsals in a reasonable state of physicality, that
Right, right.
uh-oh, this is worse than knee pain.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned coaching. So
Mhm.
I've I've like done like Tony Robbins personal power. I don't, are you aware of Tony Robbins?
I've been listening to Anthony for a long time. I've
Yeah.
also trained under his banner as a
Okay.
strategic interventionist coach. So
Oh,
that probably answers why I was like that with the woman. Yes, so
yeah.
very much actually, Sandy. He's the
Wow.
goat,
Okay.
isn't, he's really just not he would like go all humble on it and say it wasn't just me. I didn't figure this stuff out. I got it from the best in the world. It's like, well, that's what a lot of us, who are
Yeah.
getting someplace are doing. We're going, you know, this is some amazing stuff, how I'm going to apply it, you know, instead of listening to watching Netflix as much, you know, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
it was really, around this time that I was was re-listening to Tony Robbins' Personal Power. I think it was Personal Power 2.
Mm,
And I think that was part of it as well, that really committing to making a decision that this this knee pain is not gonna, be part of me forever, because
really?
yeah, I
Okay.
mean because
Go
I
Tony.
tore my knee in 2016,
Oh my
and
gosh,
so
yeah.
by like 2021, I was still kind of going nowhere with it. So that was already like 5 years in.
Mm.
Um,
So
and then yeah, and then
Tony had to get up you a little bit. Tony had to be like, "Lady, you've found this thing that's halfway there," you know, in his accent the
yeah,
way he does.
I really think so because I remember when I was in quarantine in Taiwan and like I didn't really have much to do, right? I was in quarantine and that was around the time when I was listening to, Personal Power again. And at like 5 years into having knee pain after surgery, I was at that point where it's like, well, am I ever going to get rid of my knee pain? Because I've already tried so many things.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, Tony Robbins says that, if you say you've like tried everything, well, you haven't, because if you've tried everything, then you would have
You'd
found
be
the
dead.
answer.
Well, either you would have found the answer or you'd be dead because you're going to keep trying until you die. Get out there.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of where that mentality leads to, isn't it? A bit.
Yeah.
If there was anyone like that needed this type of information that you knew, or like, is it like a celebrity or someone like you wish that you could just like show this to? Is there someone in your life who like who kind of you think that they would
Mm,
benefit from doing this thing? Because we can get evangelical with, I do yoga, you should do yoga too, but this is different. Like this method, I mean, you've done yoga, I've done yoga. There's
mm.
these things, but like, and for something that has this level of utility, I imagine there might be someone out there that you might want to share it with. Can you think of anyone off the top of your head, or?
Hmm. I mean, I have an uncle that I believe has knee pain. Um, but not anybody that I kind of see on a regular basis or
Okay.
talk to that I can think
Yeah.
of. Yeah. And I'm not sure if this would work for like ankle pain, like, if it's just works for knee pain. I don't really know actually. For me, it was knee pain, so it really helped me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I mean, really, I think everybody should be doing these exercises, because knee pain is such something that I think happens to everybody at some point. I feel like it's a very
Almost.
common thing, right? As you age, that a lot of people end up needing knee replacements and yeah.
Well, it's yeah, you're pretty close to it there. It's like while not everyone may suffer from knee pain, um, it it's certainly prevalent that like I don't know if you've heard this phrase from, you know, Bikram yoga.
Oh yeah.
So
But I don't know
Bikram,
what phrase.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Bikram Chowdhury has a famous phrase. He says, "You can mess with the gods, but don't mess with your knees." So like
Hmm.
I guess that's just drumming home like let's, do this yoga and do all this running and do all these things. But if you notice something with your knees, pay attention to it and don't try and crank it sideways to try and get it more flexible. I think he was just trying to teach us
Hmm.
to have a little bit more um, respect for the knees. But so your uncle might have a knee issue a little bit. But
Hmm. Hmm.
I just find it very awesome that at this point in 2025, we finally, I don't want to sound evangelical about it, but it's like we've found this method now that you, have said that it's had this massive effect, and
Right,
that um people are still feels fake to say it, but like people are not needing to go to surgery. People
right.
are, and even after surgery, they're using this to like have a huge improvement in their condition. And it's like,
Hmm.
I'm just so stoked that you, buddy, another person, have had this like amazing thing freaking happen to you, because it's like
Yeah,
we're all doing our best in this world, and if something comes along and just smacks us like that, like a
right.
knee injury, that for so long you were like in pain as a result, and now
Hmm.
you've done this thing. So yeah, you're on the backwards. Are you still practicing, or
I still do the exercises. I don't have access to a gym right now, so my husband's a digital nomad, so we've been actually traveling. Yeah, so I'm in Peru right now.
how
And then we're gonna go
interesting?
to Iceland in a few weeks. So yeah, we sold the house and we're traveling the world, and so it's
Wow.
yeah, it's harder to find a gym with a sled.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is, isn't it? Because in many ways the sled isn't necessarily ubiquitous. Like,
Hmm.
you go to your average gym and there's always going to be a treadmill. So I would give you a wee nudge there, Sandy, and go,
That's true.
part of the utility of having, say, one of those globally recognized gym memberships like Anytime Fitness or something, is that you can access a gym not only in every country, but almost in 5 different gyms within a city,
That's true.
And
Right.
some of them may have a sled, but each to their own and stuff like that. I'll just give you a wee bit of a nudge and you can go,
Yeah, that's true.
lady.
That's true. I could use the treadmill. Yeah. I've done that actually. We have the treadmill off and use walk backwards for the treadmill. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, solid.
Yeah. But I've been
Well
doing more
done.
yeah, I've been doing more the tibialis raise and the calf raises, and yeah.
Tibialis raise, calf
I just
raise.
wish that this program, Ben Patrick's whole system, I wish that it was incorporated into physical therapy.
Isn't it astonishing?
Hmm.
It's like the model has been trained in a way. I don't want to rant on this, but like, they
Yeah.
go to school, they get their textbooks, they learn how to do a given thing in a given way. And it takes a
Hmm.
generation before the textbooks change. At least just hope it doesn't. We're in an era
Yeah.
now of so much information that people are just going to keep coming at these people and going, look, I was on the internet, mother beep.
Right.
And I learned
Yeah.
that I could sort this out by doing this. So
Yeah.
why you, I mean, like, I'm sure there is utility in cutting people open for fixing this and that particular thing. But let's reel that back a little bit. If we've got
Hmm.
a practice here that you said, that I've said, that,
Right.
I mean, Ben himself has got like 6 million or more followers now, as a
Hmm.
result of this very important thing for us to really have nutted out. We've got enough
Right.
on our plates in society these days without needing to go and get knee surgery, that
Yeah,
we really
absolutely.
could just learn this method, maybe get his subscription, or do my course or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So good on you, lady. You're still doing it.
Yeah, I wish that, it's part of physical therapy or, people hear about this before they, do surgery like me, I mean, I regret doing surgery, obviously, but yeah.
Well, you didn't know any better. You were
Right.
doing your darndest, and God bless you. You would have been doing your dental stuff at the same time and doing all of that bloody business and cooking or making this. And I want to do these things. And, you
Yeah.
know, like, but you've got there. You've found it.
Hmm.
So full credit to you.
Yep.
And
Yep. And
I
I'm
can
glad
only,
that, you're sharing this information and hopefully, yeah, get more people healed and pain-free, doing things they love, right?
that's it, so that they can get out
Hmm.
and do the things that they want to do,
Right.
like
Absolutely.
they could just add this to their day as opposed to setting a doomsday clock for 6 months when they're going under the knife. I mean, I'm sure that's a little bit more appealing, don't you? It's like
Mm.
you could
Hmm.
just do this for a few minutes a day. Oh, really? Well, you forget the knife thing, thanks, but I'm not coming back.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Mm. Wicked, Sandy. Thank you very much for
All right.
coming on, and it was a pleasure
Sure.
meeting you.
Yeah, it's
And
great meeting you.
yeah, I'd love to hear like if you get any massive goal achieved because I did this. Did you say your presentation, that theater things all done and dusted?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Cool.
was able to perform in it was a cabaret. I don't know if you're familiar with the show Cabaret.
Okay.
It's a Broadway show that they did in in Richmond. So it was
Cool.
fun. It was a lot
Lovely.
of fun. There's so many costumes and get to dress up and it was just a blast.
Oh, fun and games. Good
Yep.
stuff, Sandy. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. And yeah, I'd love to hear any
Yeah.
more stories you've got in the future. If you bloody touch
Okay.
base and go, hey, Cole, up to you. It's all good.
All right. Sounds great.
Have a good night, Sandy, eh?
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.